His name was Legion. At least that's what they said. He lived in the country of the Gerasenes. These consisted of the 10 federated cities of the Decapolis east of the Sea of Galilee, all under Roman occupation. The region was a base for the Roman military and had become a place where veterans with a pension were given land to dwell in. Like gathering at the Legion Hall on Thursday nights to reminisce with the only people in the world who've seen what you've seen. Or perhaps to have a few pints and find solace in forgetfulness. Jesus and his disciples had been on a boat trip at dusk in which a great storm had arisen. The disciples were terrified, went looking for Jesus, found him asleep underneath, awakened him, and scolded him for not caring. At which point he calms the storm by the word of his mouth. And the disciples look at one another and they ask, "Who can this be that even the wind and the waves obey him?" What the disciples don't know, the demons most definitely do. This is Jesus, Son of the Most High God. When Jesus steps onto shore, a man approaches quickly, whom the Scripture briefs us is occupied. He is occupied by an unclean spirit. And the spirit had rendered the man unclean by driving him out from civilization, if you will, to dwell among the tombs of those who'd been killed in wars and resurrections. To live in such a place violated the Jews' strict purity code and rendered this man unclean to his community. We're told they'd often restrained him with shackles and chains. Was that for his protection or theirs? No matter, he always broke free in the end. And night and day among those tombs and in those mountains, he would howl and hurt himself with stones. Have you ever had a pain inside you so bad you'd do anything to get it out? An image you wish you could unsee? A thought you wish you could unthink? A sound you wish you could unhear? A deed you wish you could undo? A memory you wish you could forget? Stick with me because we're going somewhere. Whatever hell this man was living, inside or out, he wanted to be free of it, but he did not know how. He saw Jesus from a distance, ran, and bowed toward him, and he screamed at the top of his lungs, "What are you going to do to me?" For this is what everyone else does. They do stuff to him. They shackle him. They chain him. They look away in pity, or they kick him like a dog and yell him to get away. Go back to the dead people, because that's all you are. That's where you belong. That stuff settles down in your bones, and you don't forget it, and you don't unhear it. Everyone else looks at this man and they see collateral damage. Only Jesus looks at him and sees someone worth saving. "What is your name?" Jesus asks him. "Legion," he replies, "for we are many." Legion is the same word for a division of Roman soldiers. A legion was made up of around 2,000 troops. Several legions would have been scattered there throughout the region. Jesus asks the man his name, and he says, Legion. Why would he do that? Did he suffer from mental illness? Maybe. Did he need medicine but got called crazy instead? Was he experiencing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder? Was he a civilian who watched his home get commandeered by the occupying force? Or was he a soldier who saw something that he could not unsee and he cracked? Did he try to go AWOL, but they caught and court-martialed him? Is that why he was shackled and chained? How old do you think he is? A teenager? A young recruit? A veteran? Your age? Mine? Stationed in nearby Antioch was Rome's 10th Fretensis Legion. And their mascot, and I'm not making this up, was the pig. On the hillside, a great herd of pigs was feeding. There were around 2,000 of them. And whatever is inside this man is begging to come out. And Jesus sends those unclean spirits into the herd of pigs, and they go rushing down the steep bank into the sea, and they're drowned. And Jesus' hearers knew exactly the subversive poetry that he was using. They couldn't have missed it. Remembering the legion of Pharaoh's army who had pursued the people of God into the Red Sea before God caused the two sides of water to crash back down upon them, drowning them in their entirety. The Exodus. It's as if Jesus is saying there is a new Exodus at hand. The last one freed you from an external slavery. I'm here to bring an exodus that will free you from the slavery within. The owners of the pigs are understandably upset. Jesus might have just bankrupted them. The crowd comes to find the one they'd heard had calmed the wind and the waves and who is stronger than an entire legion. But it's not Jesus who catches their attention, but the man. The one formerly known as Legion, with clothes on and in his right mind, and they're afraid. The crazy guy who lives by the cemetery or sleeps under the bridge or talks to herself as she walks down the street, we've hardened ourselves to that. That's out there. Thank God it's not me. But what about when it's in here or in here? That's scary. And what of the one who is stronger even than that? Who, like a commanding officer, barks an order that 2,000 recruits follow? Well, then you beg him to leave your neighborhood. For who knows what else this man might ask you to do, where else he might deploy you, what else he may ask you to give up, who else he might ask you to forgive. As for our now nameless man, he asks to follow Jesus on the road, and Jesus refuses. For there are some disciples he deploys in other countries, other roads. And some he sends on what is often the hardest mission, going home. Go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you. The man goes throughout the Decapolis proclaiming what Jesus had done for him. a postscript. As a dual citizen of both Canada and the United States, I'm keenly attuned to the competing allegiances that countries and cultures and religions place upon us. In graduate school, I wrote my honors thesis on this very subject. It was titled, "American Providence and the Politics of Jesus, the Future of Homemaking at the 49th Parallel." You can't unhear what you've heard before, but you can listen to it again and try to hear it in a different way. American troubadour Woody Guthrie wrote a song called "This Land Is Your Land." You probably know it. I love that song. The refrain goes, "This land was made for you and me." Woody also hand-painted the following words on his guitar: "This machine kills fascists." Not much room for doubt in that statement. And as someone learning to follow Jesus, I'm not ready to say that. Woody was mentor to another folk hero, Pete Seeger, and Pete chose to take a different route and had emblazoned on his banjo in 1952 and every other banjo since then, "This machine surrounds hate and forces it to surrender." Pete knew what Jesus was trying to tell us. Sometimes the best way to calm a storm is to speak to it. And everyone was amazed.